Time for a little bit of back bending, supported, grounded back bending. To do this, some kind of cushion from the floor. I have a block and my blanket, and I also have a pillow later on in case I need that. So let's get started in the seated position. Thank you for joining me. So whatever seated position works best for you. And I'm going to go into a modification of hero, sitting on my block, right? I have it on level 2. If your quadriceps and your knees are a little bit more comfortable with this position, maybe you're just seated on level 1, or maybe you're on your heels. Hi Mags, you gonna join us? Good girl. So let's go ahead and find that seat. We can sit up nice and tall, right? Crown of the head lifting up towards the sky. Relax the shoulders away from your ears, and let's start off with just kind of connecting with that ebb and flow of life, our breathing, right Mags? So relax your jaw and softly close your eyes. Let's take a nice deep inhale in through your nose. Don't restrict it, don't modify it, just allow it to happen. And then when it's time to exhale, let that happen too, on its own. Not controlling and not altering, just allowing the breath to come and go on its own. Let each breath be an experience. Focus on the sensations. Allow all the agitations settle. Notice yourself become a little bit more calm, a little bit more in tune with what's happening inside of you. Are you holding your shoulders? Are you clenching your jaw? Let your tongue rest quietly in your mouth. It's perfect. So use that next inhale to roll your shoulders forward, up, and exhale to release them back. And just take a couple of those. Let your arms kind of dangle down from your shoulders. Maybe change or reverse the direction of that shoulder roll. Awesome. And then on your next inhale, let that inhalation lift the arms up. And slowly release back down. Whichever direction feels comfortable, or maybe even natural for you. We're just trying to get into that one breath for movement. Gonna keep one hand on the floor, take an arm up and over. Pause here, let those side ribs open up. We do that little cartwheel across the sky and settle in here. Remember, we're not in a rush. We're just breathing slowly, steadily, with awareness, consciously breathing, being involved with it. Since we're going to be doing some back bending, let's do some chest expansions. So I'm going to just take the arms up and interlace those fingers and gently draw the arms back, just to level comfort where you start to feel your shoulder blades kind of press into the back of your heart, lifting and opening your chest more. So that's the area that we're going to be focusing. Opening here, right? Opening here through here as we manipulate the spine a little bit. We'll do movement, but then we'll also do some, not really yin, we're not going to hold that long, but holding the poses for a moment. Just to allow ourselves to settle, right? To settle and to kind of open up and not be so restricted and closed to the world around us, and allowing the world inside to open up. I'm going to open up that back, let those shoulder blades separate, tuck the chin, inhale, take it up, and exhale, round. Perfect. Bring your palms towards you, right? So bring your palms in, squeeze your shoulder blades together, maybe lift the chin, and then as you exhale, press out, round. Inhale and exhale. That spinal flexion and extension that we do in so many yoga movements. or breath movements. Perfect. So let's take that spinal flexion extension, let's take it down to the mat. So we're going to shift to all fours. You can continue to use that blanket if you need that for your knees. I will be using the block later on for a supported back bend. We'll do two variations of a supported back bend. We'll do supported bridge, where the block is under your hips, and then we'll do a supported fish, where the block is for our shoulder blades. All right, so blanket for knees. Let the toes stretch back to the back edge of your mat. Right? Hands or fists, we will transfer down to our elbows in a moment. So as you inhale, once again, inhale, let the belly drop, let the chin lift, and then exhale, tuck and round. Perfect. Inhale, tilt, and exhale. Ebb and flow, right? Ebb and flow. Now change the effect or the sensation of this. We're going to go ahead and do this from our elbows, right? All right, so elbows under shoulders. And you'll feel a little bit more in your spine. It might feel a little bit more restricted, like you can't get that, you're not getting the big range of movement that you were just getting when you're on your hands. So this is a little bit more focused on the spine. Right? While we're here, let's go ahead and throw in a twist. So just going to reach an arm out, take your other arm through, come down to the back of your shoulder, and the side of your head is resting on the mat. Hips can be up. Maybe you want to try it with your hips down, see how that feels for you. Just move cautiously, right? Slowly move through the positions. Let your breath kind of fill your body. Almost as if your breath is directing you. We'll take that twist in the opposite direction. Take that arm, I'm going to thread it through. Come down to the back of the shoulder. Using that inhalation to come up and exhale. Perfect. So I'm going to do that cat-cow or that spinal flexion extension from the seated position. I'm going to take that blanket out. I will use it when we come down into our back. Let me get that out of the way. And you don't have to have that yoga blanket, right? You can use a beach towel, a smaller blanket if you want. Just something that is firm and supportive and that folds easily. Right? Folds easily. No sloppiness here on the mat. All right. So seated position, right? Have the feet out in front of you. Maybe hip width, maybe a little bit wider. Whatever's comfortable. What allows you to sit up straight. Sometimes you have to take your feet out a little bit further. Some of us can bring them in closer. It just depends on your range of movement for your hamstrings and your lower back, and your flexibility for your muscles. All right. Inhale. Pull it up. Exhale. Let it round. Perfect. Since we did a twist from all fours, let's go ahead and do a seated twist here. Right? So one leg nice and long, let it extend out, but let it be comfortable. Other knee bent, arm wraps around, take a hand behind. If you have to, this is okay, right? Just watch the slouchiness. Watch the pressure that we put into our joints when we don't use our core stabilizer. When we don't use our core muscles to stabilize us, and we just kind of hang out in our bones. It doesn't encourage strength around the joints. It's not a good way sport. If you happen to need something under your hand, put a block underneath there, put a blanket. It'd be better to have a firm surface underneath you. Like this block is a little too tall for me, so I would just slide it away. Take the heel of my palm, kind of rest it there, so don't slide off that block. Not forcing the twist, just letting the breath fill the whole cavity of your chest. And let's take it in the other direction. Leg extends out, bend the opposite knee, lengthen, and twist. Bring some awareness to your shoulders, your jaw. Let everything just kind of melt down, release. Excellent. So let's go ahead and move down onto our back. Here comes the supported bridge. So I'm going to be using this block under the back of the pelvis. There's 3 levels. Anytime we use the block, there's 3 levels that you can do. So level 1, level 2, and then level 3. Now do you remember that most blocks are just foam, not super supportive. If you happen to be lucky and have those wooden blocks, those bamboo blocks, or maybe you make some blocks yourself, they're hard, so those are hard, but they are very solid. So you may want to have an extra blanket or a towel to put over the block to give you a little bit of cushion. This is firm, but comfortable, right? All right, so let's go ahead and come down to our back and we'll get set up for that supported bridge. I'm going to keep the blanket close by just in case you happen to be one of those individuals that when you lay on your back, your chin starts to reach the back of the room. You're going to need a little bit of head support. So, carefully bringing your spine down to the mat. All right, so this is where that blanket can come into play, or maybe you have to use a pillow. I have a nice little head pillow right here if I wanted to do that. But let's say I come down into my back and immediately this happens and my chin stretches back. Well, that's not really good for the musculature of your neck and your shoulders and your upper back. So I put a blanket underneath there, right? Elevate your head, lift the head so that you feel your neck is nice and long and relaxed. Notice I don't have the blanket under my shoulders, right? I'm not all crunched up in here. I want this to be dropping down. I want it to be grounded on the earth, right? Not all slunched up. But if you need it, use it. Don't avoid it if you need it, right? Gonna lift the hips. Let's start off with a level 1. So you might choose to keep your knees bent, right? Just a nice little lower lumbar stretch here. Other things I like to do is grab and hold the elbows and take the arms overhead. There are some of us that when you take the arms overhead, your arms don't come down. So that's where that pillow and or blanket might come into play. You might have to have that back there so that your arms have something to rest on, right? When the body feels supported, meaning your arms aren't hanging here, then you can actually start to relax. Your muscles start to relax. Your nervous system will start to get a little bit more quiet, and you can enjoy breathing. Maybe you choose to stay here. Maybe you choose to extend your legs out so you get a little bit more into your hip flexors and your quadriceps, front of the lower abdomen. That's up to you. I'm going to take the block up one more level so I get a little bit more of my quadriceps. Hips up, right? Boom. So notice where the block is placed. It's not here in my kidneys, it's not up in my ribs, and I don't have it down here in my glutes. It's right here on the back of your pelvis. What did I always used to say? Right there where you put your tattoo, it's right there. A little bit lower for me, but yeah, it's right across the bone, right? You can feel it. We all have that same bone structure. Just got to take a moment, try to feel where it's at, and place that block. That way you're comfortably supported. Arms down, arms out. Once again, maybe arms overhead if that's something that works for your neck, right, and your jaw. Really focus on some volume here. Right? Take some big, deep inhales and let yourself expand. Relax your legs. Block is doing all the work. Right? If you want, you can extend those legs out. They'll really get more into the front of the thighs and into your hip pockets. Perfect. Just going to take one more breath here. We'll do some movement in the hip sockets, and then we'll take that block and get into supported fish. So I make sure my feet are under my knees, right? And then lift it up, take it out. Slowly roll it down. Let's take a moment here. Hug it in, stretch it out. Good job. Feels good. Other side. We take those feet out a little bit wider. They're actually on the sides of my mat, right? So they're wider than my hips. And just slowly take those knees side to side so we get some hip rotation, right? Or thigh bone rotating in the hip socket. Little reminder, I have something for all my subscribers. It is an original. It will be one of a kind. All I need from you is your favorite color, the circumference of your head, like where you wear a hat, and then an address to mail it to. You can send that information to yogacreature@gmail.com. You can also get a hold of me through Facebook, same name on Facebook as it is here on my channel, or you can leave it in the comments below. Comments, suggestions, thoughts, feedback, use that comment section. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and get a little something. My gratitude and my appreciation to you for taking the time for you and the world that's inside of you. A couple of knee circles. All right, so let's get started for supported fish. I'm gonna roll out. So I'm gonna extend my front leg, push my foot into the floor, and roll out. Help myself come up, and let's get that blanket set up. Block. All right, so this is going to be going across your shoulder blades. So placement takes a little bit of time, right, to get it. You just got to play with your props, right, your toys. I'm going to use the blanket. No, today I'm going to use the pillow. Let's say that if I was going to be here for a long time, I might unfold this blanket a little bit and put it underneath the back of my pelvis, right here, my sacrum. It's gotten a little bit more sensitive to the floor over time, and so that might be something good to do. All right, so I'm going to put this back here, metal side down. Don't need no metal digging into your head. All right, so about a hand's distance between a block and my pillow. I usually do this with 2 blocks. I only have one within my grasp at the moment. I really can't remember where I put my other blocks. I think I know where they're at, but I can't get hold of them right now. So we'll just do what we can, right? Do what we have. All right, so about a hand's distance. So just feel where that block is, right? And come down, scoot a little bit, and start to place my shoulder blades, perfect, on that block. So I kind of got to tuck them in there, right? Move it a little bit further, perfect. And then pillow for the head. That might not be high enough, All right. Let's go with the blanket option. Good. So there will be a nice curve happening here. Upper thoracic, right? Getting into the rib cage, helping you open up that chest. My front of my throat is open. The back of my neck is long. Let me repeat that. The front of my throat is open. The back of my neck is long. So I'm not, crunching in the back. Nice and elongated. What you can do is take your fingers, place them at the base of your skull, lift up, stretch, and gently place it down. Right? Give yourself a little adjustment. Arms might go out to the sides. For some of us that have a bigger range of movement, a comfortable range of movement, our shoulder sockets, once again we can grab the elbows and take those arms overhead. Now see here, my arms are hanging in the air. This is where I might use that pillow if I can reach it. It's not going to happen, I'm not going to bother. But I can I can interlace my fingers, right? I can roll down to my wrists. Maybe I put that blanket or pillow back behind me so that my arms have something to rest on. Nice stretch in here through the armpits into the upper pectorals, travels across the chest, down to the abdomen. Nice opening position. If your arms extend out to the sides and they do not come down to the floor, have some pillows and block up or support those arm bones. There are different ways to do supported fish. This is just one of the many options. I'm just going to take 1 or 2 more breaths here. Perfect. So how do we get off of this? Very carefully. Once again, I'm going to take my front leg, Bend my back knee, my arm, elbow on the floor. I'm getting ready to catch my head in my hand. So I'm going to push my foot into the floor, roll, catch, stretch out, and let it rest here. We just took a moment to try to get all the muscles to relax. So keep supporting yourself so that you can kind of stay in that sense of support and relaxation. So let me just reach back, get those props out of my way. Maybe, where did you go? There it is. Boom. And roll onto the back. Perfect. You're going to draw those knees into the chest. One at a time. Let everything settle. Make an imprint of your spine into the floor. Going to cross at the ankles. Hold on to those feet. Maybe it's your knees. Maybe it's the back of your thighs. Whatever you can reach that allows you to keep your shoulders on the floor. Maybe hug in. Maybe rock around a little bit. Do what feels good for you. Change the cross of the ankles. And let it go. Perfect. So I'm going to roll out to the side again, and I'll demonstrate how to get off that block. Just one more time for you. So you extend the leg out, knee is bent, going to roll out. Now if I was on the block, I'd have to have my hand here to catch myself, but I'm just going to roll up onto my shoulder, just like that. Perfect. Roll up and up. And let's go ahead and get into that seated position. Luckily, that block is still here. So I'm going to use my block again for my seated position. There we go. I'm going to go into crisscross applesauce, just like that. Perfect. Oh, back bending. Very important for your spine. Very important for all the functioning systems in your body to be able to move that spine comfortably, keep it healthy, keep it mobile. Right? As soon as that spine starts to get locked down, it doesn't feel good to move. And when it doesn't feel good to move, we avoid moving, and then we're on a downward spiral. Right? So keep that spine flexible and healthy and happy. So let's take those arms up. Use that big inhale. And exhale. Awesome. One more time. Inhale, lift it up. And exhale. I want to thank you so much for sharing some time with me today. Back bending, supported back bending, right? We did supported bridge, we did supported fish, and we did a little bit of cat-cow action, spinal flexion extension. So send me those measurements, those colors, and get me your address, and you'll get one of a kind yoga creature gear. So we meet again. Namaste. Peace out, everybody. Enjoy your day.